Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om. Let's start.
Hari Om. Welcome everyone to our Makar Sankranti program by Chinmaya, Yuva, Kendra, Mumbai 2022. Wishing everyone a very, very warm Makar Sankranti, Pongal, Uttarayan, Lohri, Bihu, Magh, and so many different names for the same beautiful festival called Makar Sankranti. Let's start with a short prayer, and then we have a lot of fun, exciting, and very helpful stuff prepared for you for the next 1.5 hours. And I will just let the events take it over and not say a lot more about them. So we'll start with a short prayer. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Thank you. And for the first topic for today, which we're going to deal with, is Makar Sankranti and astronomy. Does the festival on the ground, does the festival of kites have anything to do with the stars shining in the bright sky? I invite Sapnaji to please tell us something about what is Makar Sankranti's relation to a night sky, to astronomy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vinitji. Can you help me with the share screen, the PPT?
Yeah, I will. Second.
So everybody, Hari Om. Happy Makar Sankranti to one and all. When you look at the night sky, you see a sky that's filled with trillions of stars. Now, to study the sky in a more systematic manner, what our rishis did is they divided the sky into 12 sections of 30 degrees each. And each of these sections are called rashis. Now, according to the solar calendar, when the sun enters each rashi, it's called Sankrant. Now, in India, it also denotes the beginning of a new month. Now, Makar Sankrant is when the sun enters the Makar Rashi or the Capricorn. Now, what makes Makar Sankranti, the PPT, Viniji, is it working?
Yeah, it is shared.
Okay.
It's not shared. It's not showing on the screen.
It's not showing on the screen. That's why I was
Shared.
Slideshow.
slideshow is over here. That cup.
Is it visible now?
Yeah, it's visible now. Now, what makes Makar Sankranti special over all the other Sankrantis? Can you go to the next slide? It is the only festival that we celebrate based on our solar calendar, and because of this, this particular festival falls on the same day every year, and it also marks the event when the sun enters the Capricorn constellation. Can you see there Capricornus is written? It enters the Capricorn constellation. That means that the sun starts moving towards the north. Now, you all know that the earth spins in its axis, but do you also know that it wobbles when it spins in its axis like a top? Yes, and this wobbling tilts the earth towards the sun for 6 months and away from the sun for 6 months. So when it tilts towards the sun, it's called Uttarayan, and when it tilts away from the sun, it's called Dakshinayan. Now, another way to explain this is, you all know Earth has an equator, and we have the Tropic of Cancer on the top and the Tropic of Capricorn at the bottom. Now, when the sun starts moving from the Tropic of Capricorn to Cancer, it starts the northward journey. That is called Uttarayan. And when it starts from Tropic of Cancer to Capricorn at the south, it's a southward journey. That's called the Dakshinayan. Now, Makar Sankranti is the day when the earth starts moving towards the north. The earth tilts, or the sun starts moving towards the north. So the sun starts rising earlier, we start having longer days. Now, why is this transition so very important for us? Because it signifies victory over dark by the light, because we have longer periods of light. We have sun now for longer periods of time. It denotes change, and the change is for the good. And Uttarayan also denotes change in season, like from a harsher climate, it goes on to, yes, it does. So from a harsher climate to a milder climate, from winter to spring, and it also brings about harvest. The winter harvest happens on this day. So prosperity after a very hard time. So we express gratitude to the sun for the harvest. For without the sun, there would be no growth, there would be no food. Another very interesting information is that can you go to the next slide, Vinitji? See, it starts the northward movement. Can you see the tilt of the earth? It goes towards the sun and away from the sun. Can you go to the next slide? Thank you. Now, in December and January, we see our Milky Way galaxy. Of course, not when we are in the city, but when we are away from the city, we see that the galaxy has some dark patches on the edges of it. Now, if you draw on the edges of these patches, kind of join the dots, you end up finding that the figure looks like a crocodile's head. Now, a crocodile in Sanskrit is called Makara, and is also one of the reasons why this festival is called Makar Sankranti. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope I have given you some new things to think about with this particular topic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sapna ji, for that. We definitely did learn something new. I hope everyone liked it and got to learn something new about that Makar Sankranti. One of the significances astronomically, what is Makar Sankranti. Next, I would like to invite Arvind ji to please come and tell us more about the Hindu calendar and why, in our publicity message we had put up that why is Holi, Diwali celebrated on different days of the year. But Makar Sankranti is such a festival, 14th Jan, every year, 14th Jan, some people celebrate on 15th Jan, but every year it's on this day. So a little bit about what is the Hindu calendar, the Gregorian calendar, and some points on that.
Right. Thank you so much, Vineet. So let me just quickly share my screen so that I can use that as a reference to speak about. Okay, is my screen visible?
Yes.
So ideally, if you want to speak about the Hindu calendar and all in detail, it will take a workshop or an entire session in itself. Okay, one can do a whole workshop on just the understanding of what is Panchang. Why is it called Panchang? So I am in no position right now to give you all the details. What I'm going to tell you is very brief idea of some basic terms that we see in a Panchang or what is Hindu calendar. That's all. Okay. First of all, the word Panchang. Okay, what is it? What is the word Panch? At least everybody understands it. Hindi mein Panch matlab everyone knows is 5. So Panchang means there's Panch Anga. There are 5 elements or aspects to it. Okay, that is called Panchang. So what are those 5 aspects of a Panchang? Okay, I'll just tell you the names. Some of them are easy to understand. Okay, the last 2 I have not expanded because to explain that is going to take a lot of time. So therefore, I'm just leaving it with the names. First is called as Tithi, which I'll tell you what it is very soon. It depends on the phase of the moon. Second is called Vara, which is the day of the week, which everybody knows. Utna to pata hai. Somvar, Mangalwar, Budwar. Aaj kaun sa var hai? Can anyone tell what is today's var? Which var is it today? Which Shanivar? No, Baba, it is not yet Shanivar. Ravivar. Oh. Because sun, we are saying the Ravivar. Shukrawar, at least few people. Mangalwar. Oh. Guru, all these days of the week are coming here. Baba, I thought this would be very obvious. I don't need to explain anything. Oh, Baba, condition काफी खराब है. Okay, so yeah, it is Shukravar. Okay, I think that I am not going to explain that. Please read basics. At least 7 days of the week you should know in our Indian languages. Anyway, so that is the day of the week. Then Nakshatra is what is called as a lunar mansion. I'll tell what that is very soon. And there is Yoga and Karana, which, as I said, I'm not going to attempt to explain today. But these 5 things or 5 aspects are given or codified together in what is called as a Panchang. Okay. So let me first quickly explain that this Panchang is basically the overall Hindu calendar. What is it broadly? So again, there are 12 months of a Hindu calendar like any other calendar. And those names are given here in the second column here. Chaitra, Vaishak, Jeshta, Ashad, Shravan, Bhadrapad, Ashwin, Kartik, Margashirsh, Paush, Magh, and Falgun. Okay. So these months with the correlation with the months need not be always the same. It's just given for rough understanding. It's not always that Margashirsh, Paush is. For example, right now, we are in Jan, but it's not, but it's still just Paush which is going on. So it's not like, it's not exact correlation, but just for a rough idea where those months are being corresponding to the English months, roughly. That's how it is given there. And we also have 6 seasons. Okay, so 6 seasons are given as Vasanta, which is spring. Then you have Grishma, which is summer. Varsha, which is like the the rainy season. Then you have the Sharad Ritu, which is autumn. Then Hemanta is kind of the beginning of the winter, and then Shishira, which is between winter and spring. That part over there. So these are the 6 seasons and 12 months of the Hindu calendar. Now, our Hindu calendar, they are very interesting because they follow 2 different sets of the main 2 things that you can see in the sky are what? Anybody who can look in the sky, what are the main 2 so-called heavenly bodies that you can see? Sun and the moon. Yes, stars are there, no doubt. They will play a role in the next point, but sun and the moon are the basics, right? So all over the world, whoever are the astronomers, whoever created the calendars, everybody used different references. Some went with the moon, some went with the sun. Indian calendar is what is called as a lunisolar calendar. Okay, we took both. We said, 2 things are there, ek kyun lene ka? Dono lene ka. So we have both those things incorporated into our calendar. Our months are running with the moon, no doubt, mostly. Although there are some exceptions even within India, different traditions have different follows the purely sun also, but we also take into account both these movements together. So as Swatmanji explained at the start, this is a solar event. Okay, Makar Sankranti is a solar event. It is based on the movement of the sun. Since the Gregorian calendar also follows the sun, both the calendars following the same heavenly body, hence the date is the same. Okay, whereas most of our other Hindu festivals are based on the lunar calendar, and there's a small difference between a lunar month and a solar month. Okay, 62 lunar months equals 60 solar months. So there's a calculation there, and because of that, there's a slight difference in the days when the other festivals usually come as per the Gregorian calendar, which is a solar calendar. Okay, simple. Those which are following the sun will have the same date as per solar calendar. Those which are following the moon will have the same date as per lunar calendar. That's a simple idea. But because Indian festivals generally follow lunar calendar, their dates fluctuates a little bit here and there with regard to the Gregorian, which is a solar calendar. That's very briefly explaining it. Further, now what are tithis? Tithis basically are the lunar days. Okay, so this is just a beautiful figure that explains it. So it starts off from Amavasya, you have the waxing phase of the moon till you have Purnima. Then from Purnima, you have again the waning phase of the moon back to Amavasya. And everything is, there are 15 days from one to the other. So this tithi is a division. Okay, it's actually 12 degrees of how much so I'm not going into those detailed technicalities, but that's exactly how the tithis are defined. Yeah, 14 days, correct. If you are not counting, like if you start from Amavasya to Purnima, Purnima is the 15th day, like that. So basically the tithis are Prathama, Dvitiya, Tritiya, Chaturthi, Panchami, Shashti, Saptami, Ashtami, Navami, Dashami, Ekadashi, Dwadashi, Trayoddashi, Chaturdashi, and the next one, whichever is either it is Purnima or it is Amavasya. So this is how the basic tithis are moving. Okay, so from one point to the other. So this is what is tithi. Tithi is basically like equivalent to a day. Okay. Next, we come to Nakshatra. Now, Nakshatra is a little bit more complicated, but understand this, that if you sit on Earth and you look at the sky, the entire horizon that you see is divided into 12 parts. Okay? Because you need some way to understand, right? To differentiate one part of the sky from another part. So astronomers all over the world, they have divided, generally they found 12 as a very good number because 360 degrees, right? So it's easily divisible by 12. So you have 12 major segments of the whole horizon, which is called as constellation, based on the constellations, which are called as rashis. Now, every constellation includes a set of stars, right? So the few stars were picked out to kind of represent that particular constellation. Now, those stars are called as nakshatra. Okay. Now here is where the Indian calendar, I said, now जब तक sun कर रहे थे ना, अब हम moon का यहाँ moon का movement देखेंगे. So as the moon moves across the sky, depending on which nakshatra it is closest to on a particular day, that is considered as the nakshatra of the day, star of the day, kind of. Okay, the star of the day is whichever star is closest to moon on that day, that is the star of the day. Now, as the moon moves and it gets closer to another star, that is the star of the day. So the star of the day keeps changing as per the movement of the moon. Imagine how much they have tracked all this. Okay, you sit and just look at the sky. हमको तो देखते तारे दिखते ही नहीं है, मतलब हमारे सिटी लाइफ में अगर देखेंगे तो भी हमको सब सेम ही लगता है. But there's a lot of effort people have put to understand the stars and identify them and see the movement of the moon, which is close, which is far, without even, and remember, these have been in place since more than 5,000 years ago. Okay, so no telescope and all. Just through naked eyes, people have been able to map the entire sky. That is the great, the wonderful thing here. So you understood what is nakshatra, right? Nakshatra is where the moon is, near which part of the sky the moon is nakshatra. Tithi is which phase of the moon is, that is Tithi. And Shukla Paksha is the 15, because the Tithis are the same, right? So to differentiate between waxing and waning, the growing moon is called Shukla Paksha, the waning moon is called as the Krishna Paksha. Okay. So now one last point before I can complete my point, which is why is this Hindu calendar more scientific? So I've given a link here, I put it on the chat also. You can read more in detail about this very beautiful article about what is more special. But understand is that this calendar, as I said, has been in existence for more than 5,000 years. It is accounting both for solar and lunar movements. It is self-correcting. I told you, right? 62 lunar months is 60 solar months. Then how come we don't always see continuously Diwali changing? That doesn't happen, right? Because they know that, so every 2.5 years, one extra month is added called Adhik Mas. So that, this balance is maintained. That's why you'll see that our festivals shift, and then they're back. Well, October se Diwali, November tak khisak ke jata hai, then back it comes to October. Because of this self-correcting mechanism. That is not there in some calendars. Islamic calendar has no such correction. Okay, they also follow a similar lunar kind of thing, but they don't have. That's why you see Eid is happening, comes anytime. There's no fixed time when Eid happens. Eid happens any time of the year because there is no self-correction mechanism. It just keeps changing. And that is one thing. Second is there are no arbitrary changes. Everything is measured and done as per requirement. If you see the history of the Gregorian calendar, it is terrible. Okay. There's been law, one point, one time Julius Caesar had 446 days in a year because itna sara backlog ho gaya tha because of incorrect calculation. Khatam karna tha kabhi. So ek jano ne bola ki hum ye saal mein 446 days rakhenge. It was called a year of confusion. Kuch to naam bhi hai in Roman, it's called something, year of confusion. They said 446 days, 1 year. And then there were so many more confusions about how New Year was changed arbitrarily. And suddenly when Gregory started the calendar, initially he said there are a lot of Catholic faith involved. He's a pope. Gregory is basically a pope. So he also had a lot of Catholic faith involved. So he insisted that whatever was decided as the day of when Jesus apparently came back, that should be a Sunday. So even if it was not a Sunday, he said, isko Sunday karna hai. Then people said, aisa karenge to sab kuch hil jayega. So then a lot of things happened and then said, we will decide one Sunday and that we will call it Easter. Okay? So like that, lot of, similarly New Year also, arbitrarily shifted, which was, New Year was based on close to the equinox. Equinox happens on 21st March. So near that was where the New Year used to happen. Arbitrarily shifted to 1st of January. When nothing happens on 1st of January. There's nothing happening in the universe on 1st of January, which is different from 31st of January, 31st of December. But Manali New Year. So the Gregorian calendar is highly arbitrary. And just I'll leave you with one question. Okay. Generally, what is the 8-sided figure called? 8-sided figure, what is it called? Those who are maths, octagon, right? 9-sided figure is called a nonodecagon, right? A 10-sided figure is called a decagon, right? Octa, no, deca, hepta is 7-sided. These indicate 7, 8, 9, 10, right? October, November, and December should ideally have been which months? 8th month, 9th month, and 10th month, right? September also, hepta is 7. So September should have been 7th month, right? How come they are 9, 10, 11, 12? Find out. And you will know how arbitrary the Gregorian calendar is. It is unfortunately because colonialism spread and everybody was imposed this calendar. That's why we follow it. But one must never forget the glory of the actual scientific calendar that we have been handed over by our tradition. Okay. So that little bit of just information, tidbits, I will stop now.
Thank you so much, Arvind Bhaiya. That was many things we didn't know, and I'm sure we'll practice on the tithis before the next session, and we'll know what is Somvar and Mangalwar. Okay, if you all remember, we all put up a small post on the group that whoever knows their birth date, which I'm sure everyone knows, but also their birth time. So we want one person, if they can raise their hands, the first person will take who knows their birth date and time and birthplace. Who is the first person?
Suhas Kashyap.
Suhas Kashyap. Okay. Suhas, you have been chosen. And Palak will guide us. What is your... Okay, I'll let Palak say what she is doing.
Hari Om everyone. Happy Makar Sankranti to all of y'all. So thank you Arvindji for telling us about the Panchang. On that note, I would like to tell you all that today is the Dwadashi Tithi of the Paush month. Now, Suhas, let's find out your birthday. Okay? I'm going to share my screen and tell me when you can see it. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, Palak, we can. Thanks.
Okay. Suhas, could you please tell me your birthday?
Suhas, you have to unmute.
Unmute and tell me.
Okay.
Unmute.
Sorry.
Yeah.
24th April 2007.
That's great. What time were you born?
2:20 in the afternoon. I do not know the seconds.
That's okay. No issues. Is the spelling right?
Yes.
Okay. So, well, you were born in the Vaishakh month on the Ashtami, that is the 8th day, during the Shukla Paksh, and your Nakshatra is
Pushya.
Pushya,
Yes.
Rashi is Kataka. So, great. Now,
What date would that be?
sorry,
This year, what date would that fall on?
that would be May 9th.
May 9th.
Oh.
It would be a Monday. Okay, so now that you know your birthday, the others who did not get a chance, a link will be shared in the chat box. Please go through it and enter. Also, a Google link will be shared and enter your birthdays, and Chinmaya Mission will wish you on your Janmati. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, Palak. Could you stop the screen share?
I stopped. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. So we'll be sharing the link soon. And like she said, you'll get an email birthday greeting in your link on your Hindu calendar Tithi day. And you can tell everyone that today is your birthday according to the Hindu calendar. So I will share it at the end so we don't waste time. And I'll put it up on the group also. You can fill it up there. Okay. Next in So I invite Swami Swatmanji to give us a short talk on Makar Sankranti. He will be telling us some of the cultural and spiritual aspects of the program. For those of you who may not know who he is, Swami Swatmanji is one of the most dynamic leaders of Chinmaya Mission. He's been the Acharya of Chinmaya Mission South Mumbai from 98 when he completed the course to 2000 was his course at Vedanta, and from 2000 till 2022 he's been posted in South Mumbai. He inspires the youth with dynamic spirituality and encourages them to think and question. He has, through various different plays like theater, treks, outdoor experiential programs, music, and many other techniques are used by him. He has taken the Youth Empowerment Program for over a decade, which is a value-based leadership program for the youth who want to serve the nation and culture. He would train them for 3 months, and then the youth would serve the country for 9 months. And through the above endeavors, thousands of youth have been inspired to lead a more meaningful and successful life. He's also the visionary behind Chinmaya Pradeep, the world's first outdoor Vedantic park dedicated to the vision, life, and work of Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayanji. It's located at the iconic Sandeepni Sadhanalaya in Powai, and currently due to the COVID restrictions, it's not open, but once it opens, I hope you all do get to go through it. Thank you so much. Swamiji, over to you, please.
Hari Om. Makara Sankranti Shubhashayaha Sarvebhyaha. Inya Pongal Nalvartakal. Tuanu Lahridi Lakh Lakh Vadhaiya. Bohag Bihur Shubhecha. And Shubh Makar Sankranti to everyone present here. So it was nice to understand about the lunisolar calendar, and see what is important is, like Arvind said, a lot of festivals are based on the tithi of the moon. Sankranti is a festival based on the movement of the sun. Do you know how many Sankrantis are there in the whole year? There are 12 Sankrantis in the whole year. Whenever the sun goes into a new Rashi or a zodiac sign, that is called Sankranti. Sankramana literally means movement. So 12 days or 12 tithis are celebrated, not just one day. Sankranti is celebrated 12 times in the year. And this Sankranti is based on the movement of the sun. Now, before I go into the spiritual, cultural aspects of this, one thing we have to understand here is the effect of the earth rotating. See, earth rotates and there's a tilt in the earth, so that 23.4 is the tilt, and then the earth keeps on rotating. But the axis on which the earth rotates also goes through movement. And so that is called axial precession. Now, based on that axial precession, there is a shift in the axial precession by 50 seconds every year. And hence we find there is a big confusion which we have in our Hindu culture, is we say that today on Makar Sankranti day, Uttarayan starts. It is inaccurate actually to say that, because on Makar Sankranti day, Uttarayan does not start now. Uttarayan starts in the winter solstice, which is December 21 or 22. One of these days it will be. Uttarayan starts at that time. Today is the day when the sun enters Makar Rashi. Now this Uttarayan and sun entering Makar Rashi used to be at one and the same point certain number of years ago. based on this axial precision. So I'm just going to read out that one aspect to you so that we have this clarity. See, in 1000 AD, Makar Sankranti was on December 21st. So the Uttarayan day and the Makar Sankranti day was coinciding. Then sorry. So correct. In 272 AD, Makar Sankranti was on December 21, not in 1000. My mistake. 272 AD, Makar Sankranti was on December 21. In 1000 AD, Makar Sankranti was on December 31st, and now it is on January 14th or 15th. After 9,000 years, Makar Sankranti will come in June. So we should remember this, that the Uttarayan period is not necessarily to coincide with the day of Makar Sankranti. Astronomically, it is this calculation based on the rotation of the sun. And if you go into the astronomical calculations, they say very clearly this Earth's rotation on its axis is influenced by the power, by the pull of the moon, as well as the sun, as well as other planets also. It's very interesting what astrology in our culture tells us and what astronomy is telling us today. Thousands of years ago, our great astronomers, they have predicted many things and they have explained very clearly. And what they have explained as the power of the grahas. So it is not just that the Sankranti is the transition of the sun into the Makar Rashi. I'm just going to read one very powerful portion which will make you just understand that how our masters in the past, like Arvind said, they were in tune with the universe. And they knew which are the forces acting on the earth and how it affects the earth's rotation, and that is how they coincided the many of these celebrations and these festivals. So let me just read that one portion to you. See, it may be stated that in ancient texts, the entrance of the sun alone in a Rashi is not considered as a holy time. But the entrance of all planets in a Nakshatra or a Rashi was deemed to be a holy time. न केवलम आदित्यस्य एव संक्रमायने पुण्यकालः किंतु सर्वेषामपि ग्रहाणां नक्षत्र राशि संक्रमे पुण्यकालो भवति. So the Hemadri and Kal Nirnay, which are Kal Nirnay specifically about calculation of time, and you will see a lot of precise explanations given about the movements of the planetary, the planets and the stars, and our Earth and all that is mentioned, and then they determine what is the appropriate time, the auspicious time to do certain things. So in that Kal Nirnay, he says very, very clearly that the holy time of the passage of the sun and the planets are as follows. In the case of sun, the Punyakala is 16 Ghatikas before and after the moment of the Sankranti. For the moon, it is 1 Ghati and 13 Palas. For Mars, 4 Ghatis and 1 Pala. For Mercury, 3 Ghatis and 14 Palas. For Jupiter, 4 Ghatikas and 37 Palas. For Venus, 4 Ghatikas and 1 Pala. For Saturn, 82 Ghatikas and 7 Palas. Like that it gives. And based on all these confluences of these various nakshatras, the Punya Kala, the right time when this sun is graduating, is moving into this Rashi from Dhanush Rashi into Makar Rashi is determined. Very interesting is one analogy that they give, that it is not possible for the fleshy human eyes to determine exact time when the sun actually crosses. So they say that in Devi Purana it is said, why I'm quoting all this is for you to understand that we think our Puranas only some stories and some mythology, but there's a lot of science hidden in the Puranas. So here it is said in Devi Purana that how do you know at what particular time the sun went from this Rashi, Dhanush Rashi, into Makar Rashi. So they say, just consider that a person is sitting happily at ease and just winking the eye, blinking the eye. So they say that 1/30th part of the throb of an eye is called Tatpara. 100th part of Tatpara is called Truti. And 100th part of Truti is the time taken by the sun to move from one Rashi into another. Can we ever find out that unit of time? 1/30th of the time taken to blink the eye is Tatpara. 100th of Tatpara is Truti, and 100th of that Truti is the actual duration, the time taken by sun to move from Dhanush Rashi into Makar Rashi. Like that 12 times in the year. So now when it moves, we don't know exact time. So they say that what I read earlier, the 20. What they said, Punya Kala. So 16 Ghatikas. So 12 hours before and 12 hours after is actually the time when one should do various rituals which will give maximum benefit. I will come to that. My point was this. First and foremost, Sankranti does not fall on the same day. That is a correction we have to understand. It is falling on the same day for a few years right now because of our human life is very small, some 50, 60, 70 years. In that we see same day. But it does not actually fall on the same day. It falls based on the rotation of the earth. And so it was falling in December, on December 21st in 272 AD. So Uttarayan and Makar Sankranti was coinciding, which is when the northern movement of the sun will start. That is why it is called Uttarayana. Now, what is the significance? Before I come to significance of Uttarayan, we have to understand one more beautiful thing. One of the most, if you consider historically, they say that the Rig Veda is the most ancient Veda. And in Rig Veda, you will find lots of hymns which are addressed to nature. And the Gayatri Mantra also you will find in the Rig Veda. And we were one of the earliest worshippers of the Surya Devata. Though there were various forms also, but we also worship the Lord Sun as the manifestation of the Supreme Creator. For us, sun is not just a star. And please understand this Makar Sankranti is not a harvest festival. It may be coinciding today with harvest. Okay, number one. Number two, it is a sun festival and it is a Hindu festival. Because what happens is slowly people want to appropriate away these festivals and they want to remove the Hinduness from the festival and they want to say it is a celebration of nature, it is a kite flying festival and it is a Til-Gud festival. Hello, it is a Hindu festival to worship Surya Devata, full stop. Whether you like it or not. After some few hundred years, these fellows, Western guys will turn around and they will come back to us and then they will say, oh, we are doing sun worship. Already sun worship is very big in a lot of places. They don't believe in form. So they say, we believe in sun because, I don't believe in this god and that form and this particular deity, but I worship sun because sun for me is life. Sun is what makes my metabolism work. Sun gives me light. Sun is that because of which evaporation happens, so I get rain. Sun is that because of which this photosynthesis is happening, so I get food. For me, sun is everything. Hundreds and thousands of years ago, our masters were already worshipping sun. It's nothing new that these guys are introducing to us. And you will find on Amazon, sun worship kits. Are Rama, what is the sun worship kits? It is there in our culture. We used to worship the Surya every single day as our sadhana, as Gayatri Mantra chanting. More about that you will see as the session goes on. But specifically, we also mark the Sankrantis, 12 Sankrantis of the year, and there are specific vratas to be done. Of all those 12 Sankrantis, this Makar Sankranti is considered very important because that marks the movement of the sun. That it used to coincide with Uttarayan, right? So it marks the upward movement, the northern movement of the sun. And that is to symbolize the power of knowledge. North is the direction of knowledge. Symbolically speaking, south is the direction of death. We run away from death. Nobody wants death. And in Vedanta, we say change is death. Every minute, everything which is changing. So every minute, are there not so many cells dying in the body and new cells are being born? Our minds change, our emotions change, our goals change, people around us change, everything changes every single moment. And more I identify with the change, more will be my sorrow. So those who identify with the changeless, sun for us is a symbol of that supreme consciousness, symbol of life, symbol of love, symbol of service, symbol of knowledge. And we worship sun as Devata. We don't worship sun as a star, some physical object, because this physical star is going to die. Yeah, it has a certain billion years ka life, it will perish. But Surya is not just the star, it is the Devata. It is a presiding deity, and we worship Surya Dev, who is nothing but manifestation of the Lord in one particular form. And so you see here, sun has the 7 horses, Surya Devata. Aruna is the charioteer, and Surya is the deity, and 7 horses, which are 7 days. So we worship Surya Devata on this day. That we should be very clear. We should never forget that. Otherwise, slowly we will forget that part, which today many of us already have forgotten. We are more interested in eating Til-Gud. And when we were children, we used to make Til-Gud Ladoos, and one during our time these coins were 5 paisa, 10 paisa, 25 paisa. 1 rupee is very big. If somebody gets 1 rupee in that Til Laddu, oh ho ho, they will celebrate like anything. So we used to hide in that the red laddu, put the coin in that laddu, make that laddu, and we make it some 3-4 days before we start making it. And then on the Sankranti day, everybody chooses the laddu and they're eagerly waiting. And each one who is making that laddu is very careful that which coin they are putting, it should not be seen. They have to cover it properly. So we used to be very excited, Til-Gud laddu, and take that. But our parents, they insisted that you first take a bath, and they used to put sesame, the til in that water. On this day, Sankranti day, Makar Sankranti day, til is very, very important. Because till, traditionally it is said that on this day Shivji created till. In Shiva Rahasya it is said on this particular day, Makar Sankranti day, the till was created by Lord Shiva. And so on this day, many things are done with till. And as I said, the Sankranti and Uttaran used to coincide, and it will come in December. So slowly, it is still winter time, it is there. The cold is still there, and till is very warm. So this till, one used to put the till in water and take a bath. So one will do that. One will put till oil in the lamps and light the lamps, and especially to Lord Shiva. These are things to be done for Sankranti. Eat til ka laddu, take bath with till water, light lamps with the til oil. One has to do shraddha, offer the shraddha to the ancestors with the til water. And also to devatas, one does tarpan. We have forgotten many of these. Then one should do dana of til. One should do homa with the til. These are things to be done on the Sankranti day with til. Till along with various other samagris are put in Havan. So Gayatri Havan is done and one does. Today morning in our Chinmaya Prakash zone, we had done that. So Gayatri Havan with til, one can offer light lamps to Lord Shiva with til oil, take bath with til, eat til ka laddu, offer til water to the gods and the devatas, to the pitrus, and do donation of til ka laddu with various other things. Also one gives sugarcane. We used to eat sugarcane that day, and eat with bare, with bare teeth, not cut and nicely given with some dressing and all that. You open it, tear it with your, teeth. And that used to be a competition also. Who can finish that, this much sugarcane properly, fatafat, without, struggling. So many of those things. So now til was created on that day. So a lot of things are done with til, and the Surya is worshipped with this til. That is why it is a Hindu festival proper. Don't ever forget the Hindu part in this. And as I said, we used to worship sun. A very beautiful shloka I want to share here, where it is said, Yatha bhedam na pashyami Shiva Vishnwarka Padmajan Tatha mamastu Vishwatma Shankara Shankara Sada. Matsya Puran 98.17. And very nice line, this shloka it is, where he says, I don't differentiate between Shiva, Vishnu, Brahmaji and Surya, which means for us sun is Ishvara. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, they are gods, they are creator, sustainer and destroyer. For us sun is equal to Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Why? Because life is created because of sun. Life is sustained because of sun. And do you know, our scriptures are very clear about it. What today we are calling as global warming is mentioned in our Puranas, that as time passes, the heat will increase of the sun on the earth and the waters will start drying up. People will not have enough water to drink. Many effects are given. And slowly, because of the sun, one type of destruction will happen because of the sun. Another type of destruction is pralay, which is with water. But sun also is one big major source of destruction. So for us, Surya, that's why is not just the star. For us, it is Surya Dev, and we worship Surya Dev. Makar Sankranti is meant for that. And we consider all the four, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and Surya. Surya is equal to all these three. And also, do you know, Shankaracharya ji, he organized our Sanatana Dharma into a system of worship in Sanatana Dharma into 6 major systems of worship, major aspects of worship. That is called Shanmata Sthapana. So there are lots of gods which we have, but they all get categorized into, those who worship Shiva are called Shaivas. Those who worship Vishnu are called Vaishnavas. Those who worship Shakti are called Shaktas. Those who worship Ganeshji are called Ganapatyas. Those who worship Subramanya, they are called Kartikeyas. And those who worship Surya, they are called Sauryas. 6 major forms of worship. So sun worship has been a part of our culture. And as Arvind said earlier, we celebrate both the great powers in the sky, sun and the moon. Our festivals are based on both these. Now, what is the specific significance of Uttarayan? Ut means up. Uttara means higher and higher. Uttama means the best. Like we have no positive, super, comparative, superlative degree, like that. Uttara, Uttara, Uttama. So, a person who is wanting to rise above body consciousness, that person is called a seeker, because the sun represents also the fire element. The fire will always go upwards, fire will not go down. So sun symbolizes that knowledge, that we should know who we are. Moon is connected to enjoyment. That's why they say, your face is looking like the moon. Nobody says your face is looking like sun. You are shining so bright like sun. You say Chand sa mukhra. What is that? Chand sa Raushan Chehra. Nobody says Surya sa Raushan Chehra. So it is so you equate enjoyment. That's why Gurudev used to laugh. People go for honeymoon, not for honey sun after marriage. So this moon is connected to sense enjoyment because it provides coolness, and you can see the moon clearly, and there is a certain romance associated with that. So sense enjoyments, and also because moon is the deity of the mind, Manaso Devata Chandrama. Our mind and the moon are very closely connected. And that's why those days when the moon is closer to the earth, the tidal waves, they rise higher, we feel the pressure in the body, and it will affect the mind also. So those days, if one does upvas, etc., it will help the person. So sun is connected to the buddhi and moon is connected to the mind, emotions. Yeah, that's why slightly mad people are called lunatic. Lunar, connected to lunar. Yes. So moon connected to enjoyment, pleasures, body identification, and those who are pursuers of knowledge, who live more at the intellectual level, who want to rise beyond the intellect. So from body, rise above the body to the level of the buddhi, and then go beyond the buddhi to realize the absolute truth, the consciousness within us. Each of us are that infinite pure consciousness. For us, sun represents that infinite consciousness. And so to realize that consciousness, a seeker who is striving, that seeker pursues knowledge in life. Throughout the life, that the activities of that seeker are to rise above body consciousness. And this period of 6 months becomes more easy to do that. Why? Because see, the rainy season, the autumn, then the winter, etc., what do we honestly feel? We feel very cool, cozy. We want to lie in the rajai, and we don't want to get up. And anyway, the days are shorter, nights are longer. Now, if you get up at 6 o'clock today, it's not so bright. It is still dark. But when this Uttarayan actually has started, and this Makar Sankranti starts, nowadays here a lot of pollution and all that also is there. So many challenges we have. But otherwise, the Uttarayan period will start. The days will start getting longer. So it is more easier. See, cold is something which makes the body struggle also. A seeker will struggle. And when we have cold, we come into comfort zones quite easily. Great yogis and siddhas, etc., they handle cold in a very different way. But we get attached to our sleep and enjoyment and laziness and lethargy and all that. So the seeker wants to rise above all that. So this period of 6 months becomes much more effective, much more easier to do sadhana. And that is why the pursuer of this knowledge will always focus on living the life higher than body identification. Anybody who tries to go beyond body identification will excel in life. Not only spiritual seeker. You think about a musician. When the person forgets oneself, plays the best music, music flows through that person. Why? Because the person forgot oneself. Body identification gone, no other thoughts, emotions, nothing. One has become fully identified with music. So whoever learns to go beyond body identification, that person will evolve higher and higher. And this period becomes more easy for them to evolve. Now, one more important point associated with this festival is Bhishma has waited for Uttarayan time to drop the body. He had Ichha Mrityu Vardhan. Why did he wait for his Uttarayan time? Because it is said that this period of Uttarayan, when it starts, in nature also, there are different phenomenal forces who will start working. And when you leave the body at such times, they will guide you to the higher realms where knowledge is important. They are called the Devatas, presiding deities. So in the Gita, in the 8th chapter, it comes, there are two paths for a yogi, not for a bhogi. For bhogi does not matter, but for a yogi, a person who is striving to realize the truth, if that person drops the body in these times, Agnihi, Jyotihi, Ahaha, Shuklaha, Shanmasa, Uttarayanam. If the yogi drops the body in these times, when there is fire, when there is daytime, when it is Shukla Paksha, when it is Uttarayan time, in these times, if the body is dropped, that person will go to Brahmalok, the highest loka, and there one will wait, one will not come back to earth, rebirth will not happen. There Brahmaji will give the knowledge of the truth and that person gets liberated. That is called gradual liberation or Krama Mukti. So Bhishma wanted that Krama Mukti. Bhishma was not interested in being reborn in this earth. He wanted Krama Mukti, so he waited for this day. And when the Devatas of these, so each of these for us is a sentient force. The Supreme Lord manifests through certain sentient being forces and they govern the functioning. 6 months of Uttarayan, there is a deity. Like Surya Devata is there, there is a deity for Uttarayan, there is a deity for Shukla Paksha, there is a deity for fire, there is a deity for the daytime, etc. These deities will guide the soul to the world of Brahmaji. That is called Devayan. And there they will get knowledge and they get liberated. But if that yogi drops the body in these other 6 months, Dakshinayan time, Dhumo Ratri Tatha Krishna Shanmasa Dakshinayanam Tatha Chandramasam Jyoti Yogi Prapya Nivartate. Then what happens? This person, he is a yogi, he is still striving to realize the truth. But there are some vasanas left, there is some sense enjoyment left, desire is left little bit. In Bhishma and such great seekers, that desire is not there. They only want liberation. If a yogi is striving and there's still some material vasanas left, and if the person drops the body in these times, in 6 months of Dakshinayan, or in the night time, or in the dark fortnight, or when there is smoke around, then that person goes to Chandra Loka. And Chandra, as I said, is symbolic of the mind, of the sense enjoyments and body identification. So after exhausting some punya karmas there, that person again comes back to earth, again the seeking of that person will start. So the time of dropping the body is very important from our standpoint of Hindu culture, and even the place of dropping the body. If you drop the body in auspicious places, Kashi, Rameshwaram, Kedarnath, Badrinath, so many of these, Gaya, lots of these wonderful places. Remembering Bhagavan, one gets mukti. So this is why the importance of Uttarayan, while living also and while dropping the body also, and what happens after also. That's the power of Uttarayan. While living, we pursue knowledge. While dropping the body, those devatas who are activated, they will guide the soul ahead. Now somebody says, Swamiji, I am seeking knowledge, but if I die in Dakshinayan time because of some past karma, then what will happen to me? Then you will wait for those 6 months, because those appropriate officers are not yet, they have come to duty. So you will be in a waiting lounge, wait. After that, in the waiting lounge, when those officers get ready, their shift changes. Now these people will come and they will escort you. Aye, please come, now we will take you to Brahmalok. Because these other deities, they don't have the power to take you to Brahmalok. So you wait in the waiting lounge. So this is the importance of Uttarayan. While living, pursue knowledge, pursue higher aspects, try to go beyond body identification, do service of the society. Not that you cannot enjoy, but focus is not on enjoyment. Focus is on gaining knowledge. And do you know, if we learn this one thing, that we even today, a lot of these successful businessmen and achievers and leaders and sports people and all of them, they will tell you one thing, okay? Be a constant learner. Your learning curve must keep growing. It should not get stagnated, which our culture has said thousands of years back, that be a sadhak 24/7, 364 days, 365 days of the year. Every single moment, ask yourself, what did I learn? How can I evolve? How can I grow out of my attachments? That is a sadhak's life. So Uttarayan means that specifically how we pursue knowledge while living, how we drop the body in the right time, if that is possible by us. And when we drop the body also, if we have not realized the truth here, we will realize it later in the Brahmalok. So a person gets mukti, one doesn't again come back. Misery, if you come back again into this world, already there is water crisis and the whole world is in chaos. Now you think when you come back, what will happen to you? Why should one come back? And if nothing, remember, Guruji Swami Swatmanji says very nicely, just remember school. You have to go through 20 years of schooling. If you remember school, you will want mukti, saying, enough, Baba. I again don't want to be born and again go through education system. No, no, no. So get mukti and become realized. That is the power of Uttarayan. So this is what is the spiritual significance of Uttarayan. And as I said, the things to be done on this day are snan. People take Ganga snan also. That is very, very famous. If not, you do the snan in your house with till water and all that. And chant Gange cha Yamune chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Jalesmin Sannidhim Kuru. So snan is important. Then dan is important. Tapa is important. Today, if you do any japa, especially the Punya Kala of Sankranti, all the 12 tithis in the whole year, whatever japa you do today, it will give maximum result. Suppose you do one mala, it will not give you benefit of only one mala. Some numbers are given, I don't exactly remember, but it will give you lots of, so it is said, inexhaustible. They are not even given specific number in this. Inexhaustible will be the result of dana, of tapa, of japa, of snan, of shraddha, of homa. All these are what we are supposed to do. So let us remember the essence of our festivals and worship the Supreme Lord through these festivals and proudly say, I am a proud and practicing Hindu and this is a Hindu festival. Don't say this is a harvest festival only or a kite flying festival only or a Til-Gud festival. It is a Hindu festival, full stop. Because 200 years down the line, we will not know otherwise. Every other fellow will say it is our festival. We started it and somebody in their culture started it and all that. So keep that in mind. Wish you all a happy Sankranti and may the blessings of Surya Dev be with all of us. Whichever field we are in, whether we are seeker or not, Buddhi Devta is Surya Devta. Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. May that Surya preside over our intellect. I'm just going to end with this question they have asked here. Did Gurudev drop the body during Uttarayan time? Gurudev dropped the body in Dakshinayan time, but for a Jivan Mukta, it does not matter where the Jivan Mukta drops the body. The dropping of the body is important only for the seeker who has not yet realized the truth. It is not important for a Jivan Mukta. Jivan Mukta is already dead to the body. So it does not matter. So Gurudev dropped the body on August 3rd, that is Dakshinayan time only, but it doesn't matter at all. Right. Which mala are you talking? Any mala, you do japa of any mantra. I'm not talking any specific mala, Rudraksha or Crystal mala or Tulsi. Whichever mala, whatever mantra you are doing, Ishta mantra japa, you do. Right. Go ahead, Vineet.
Thank you, Swamiji. Arvind Bhaiya, we can start the next, please.
Thank you so much, Swamiji, for giving us all the spiritual significance. And one other group of people who are very specifically, or all of us are definitely looking at the sun and the moon and all these places. But one particular group of people are especially focused on them, which are the farmers. Okay. Now, most of us here are city people. Okay, we have hardly seen any kind of farm. We only see farms while playing Farmville game. I don't think anyone else has actually seen a farm or anywhere else there. So today we'll attempt to become farmers. Okay, so this is a game. Okay, so this is a game that we are going to play. And for this, it's a game. So obviously you have to play the game, not me. Okay, I'm only here to facilitate the game. This game, and see, we just talk about so much calculation, right? 1 upon 3,000, 30,000 of a second and all we are done. So therefore, now what we will do for this game also, some calculations are required. Okay. So keep a pen and paper handy. And if you're not so sure about your calculations, keep a calculator also handy. Okay. So keep this handy and I'll just explain the rules of the game. It's a short game, not very long, but we will try and understand now. But let's try and participate together. Only then there will be more fun of playing this game. Okay, so use the chat. I'm going to refer a lot to the chat. And this game is going to be self-scoring game. Okay, because it's not possible for me to keep track of everybody and we can't have an official scorer to keep in mind. So you have to score yourself. I'm sure you will be honest with your scoring. I trust you all for it. Okay, so with that, let us start. I'm going to share my screen. And yes, and this game is called as Krishi Bhumi. Okay. Krishi is what is called as farm or agriculture related, and Bhumi, farmland. Okay, so the land where Krishi Bhumi is going to happen. So here are the rules of the game. Listen very carefully. There are rules. Okay, any game has to have rules. Listen carefully. If you don't are not sure, ask me. I'll explain again when you how to play. First rule. The objective obviously is to get maximum profit through your farm. Every game you need to make lots of maximum amount of money you need to make. Okay, so that is the basic point of the game. Right. So this is the objective of the game. Now the thing is, there will be various tasks that you have to perform. Obviously, because the crops are not to come by itself, and each you to a different point the tasks have to be done. You need to grow your crops and sell it. Now, for doing every task, each of you are going to need both money and effort. Okay? Because farmers also need to invest both money and effort and time. But time we are right now not taking into account, but money and effort. So each of you will have 100 MP and 40 EP to begin with. Okay, this is your kitty, 100 money points and 40 effort points. Okay, this is what you have. Everyone has this with you at the start. So as and when we do various activities, I will say this activity karna hai to itna MP lagega, itna EP lagega. You do it. Some are mandatory, some are optional. So you can choose and it's up to you. So it's a strategy game. Okay, you need to keep that in mind. If you run out of MP money points, you can either borrow it from a bank or from a money lender. Both options are there. Okay. The bank se lo ya money lender se. Farak kya hai? But bank will only give you money MP if you have at least own 5 land units. Okay, so we'll be buying land, right? So if you only have minimum 5 land units, can you borrow from bank? But if you want to borrow from money lender, any amount is good enough. Kitna bhi land unit ho, 1 land unit ho, 2 land unit ho, so money lender will give you the money. Okay. So bank mein kyun jana hai? For 1 MP borrowed, bank will collect 2 MPs back from you. Money lender will take 4 times. If you borrow 5 money points from the bank, you have to pay the bank 10 at the end of it. Money lender ko 20 dena padega. Okay. So now you have to plan ki kisse lena hai, kab lena hai ki nahi lena hai, all that you have to decide. Okay. And if you run out of EP on the other hand, you can buy it with MP. That is, if you run out of effort, you can hire somebody, right? You have to pay them. So therefore, but 1 EP if you want to buy, that means you have to spend 2 money points to get it. Already confused? Then there are more confusions to follow. Okay, so I hope you are clear. Basically, this is what is the idea. Okay, remember these numbers. Okay, just remember these basic numbers: 140 for each of this to start with. And for bank से तो minimum 5 land unit होना चाहिए. Bank से लोगे तो double देना पड़ेगा. Money lenders होगे 4 गुना देना पड़ेगा. And 1 MP EP is equals to 2 MP. These are the only things you need to note it down. Okay, going ahead. LU is land unit, which I will be explaining what it is next slide. So now, first is you have to decide which crop you want to grow. Okay. I will advise you to take only 1 crop, otherwise it will be too many of calculations. For this game right now, take 1 crop. Okay. So every crop has got some requirements. Okay. This is the minimum land, that is 5 land units are required if you want to grow rice. For every land unit, you need 3 water units. Okay, if you want to grow rice. And MSP is what is the minimum price government will buy it from you. Minimum government will pay you 12 money points per yield unit. Okay, now I'm introducing more and more numbers here. That's why I said you need to write it down. So first of all, don't try to learn it for everything. I'll give you some time. Think about it and choose one particular crop which you think is you want to do it. Just choose a crop and put it on the chat. LU is a land unit. What water unit is that? And MSP. Everybody like please MSP तो sugar cane ही चाहिए मुझे. Sugar cane ही लेना है. Obvious बात है. Okay. Think and choose. Huh? सब लोग बोला सीधा हिसाब है ना. Sugar cane ही चाहिए हमको. We can all see. You know why? You know rice and wheat are what are called as the food crops, and sugar cane and cotton are what are called as cash crops. Now you know why they are called cash crops. Right? Everybody wants cash. Okay, so I hope everybody has chosen your crop. Okay, now note down these requirements for your crop. Okay, just note down whichever crop you have chosen. उसके लिए 3 चीज नोट डाउन करके रखो कि लैंड कितना है, वाटर कितना है और एमएसपी क्या है. नोट कर लिया सबने? Give you 10 seconds to note. Okay, now this yield, how do you calculate yield unit? Basically, yield unit is equal to yield factor into land unit. I'll explain. Okay, basically, your yield factor is to begin with is 1. For example, that means if I have 5 land units of rice, then my yield unit will be 5 generally. But your yield factor will keep changing based on what choices you do. Your yield factor suppose becomes 2, then for 5 land units, you will get 10 yield units. If your yield factor becomes half, then for 5 land units, you will only get 2.5 yield units. You got it? So yield factor is what decides कि तुम्हारा land से yield कितना मिलेगा. अगर 1 है तो जितना land है उतना yield मिलेगा. अगर कम ज़्यादा है तो कम ज़्यादा मिलेगा. Clear? Okay. Right. Let's continue. Now you need to buy your land. So you have 4 options here. Okay. So these 4 states we have kept. Okay. Punjab, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, and West Bengal. Okay. From 4 different parts. This is the land cost per money per land unit, and this is the water cost. Okay. So you choose. First of all, you have to choose 2 things: where you are buying and how much you are buying. And remember the minimum criteria. If you want to grow rice or wheat, then you have to buy at least that much. Okay. So think and choose. कितना खरीद minimum, maximum कुछ नहीं है. Maximum तुम्हारे पे जितना पैसा है उस हिसाब से ले सकते हो. अगर पैसा नहीं है तो borrow करके ले लो, वो भी चलेगा. Okay. Everybody wants to go to West Bengal. सस्ता है. वीजे खरीदेंगे. But you would also tell how much you are buying, okay? Tell कि कितना ले रहे हो land. वो भी decide करना पड़ेगा. जगह and how much land to buy. I hope you are also making note कि कितना खरीदा है. ठीक है? हाँ, you can't say 5 land and 1 water, huh? Because remember, जितना लैंड खरीदोगे उसका मिनिमम वाटर तो लेना ही पड़ेगा as per your crop requirement. Okay, I'll give an example. So everybody has seen this, right? Anybody has not yet chosen? You noted down the costs for your land wherever you're buying. ठीक है? Everybody has noted that, right? जो भी state तुमने चुना है उसका नोट किया ना. Now this is, I'll give you an example. Okay, suppose you are buying, you want to grow rice in Punjab. Then land you have 5 तो minimum है. So you're buying say 5 land units in Punjab. उसका correspondingly rice के लिए for every 1 land you need 3 water. So you need 15 water units. So the cost of land will be, in Punjab it is 10 per land unit. So 5 into 10 is 50. The cost of water in Punjab is 5. So 5 into 15 is 75. So this will be the total cost that is already deducted from your kitty. So if anybody has invested in rice in Punjab, then you are already in negative because 125 MP यहीं पे खत्म हो जाएगा. Okay, did you all get it? So another example here. Suppose you want to go and grow sugarcane in Tamil Nadu. Suppose you take 3 land units, then you need sugarcane needs 5. So 15 water units are required. Land cost is so much, water cost is so much for Tamil Nadu. And so 24 plus 45 is the amount of money you have already spent. Okay, now people are getting taken. They have all decided to buy land in different states. Everybody through with me so far? Just give a thumbs up. So I'll know at least few thumbs up comes. I know that you guys are with me so far. Some people already been lost. I will watch farming. I will not do farming. Okay, let's continue further. Now we start with the actual Krishi Udyog. Okay, you keep a track of how much is left for each of you. Okay. The first step is ploughing. Now you have 2 options. You can do human ploughing or you can do mechanized ploughing. If you want to do human ploughing, then it is 2 EP per land unit. Okay. If you want to go for mechanized, it is 0.5 per land unit and 0.5 MP, 0.5 EP and 0.5 MP. Suppose you have 3 land units, you go with human ploughing, you spend 6 EP. Suppose you have 3 land units and you go for mechanized, you will spend 1.5 EP and 1.5 MP. Okay. So you choose which you want to take up. इसमें ऑप्शन नहीं है, प्लॉविंग करना ही है, ह्यूमन करना है या मैकेनाइज्ड करना है, तुम डिसाइड करो. डन. नेक्स्ट प्रोसेस इज हैरोइंग. ओके, जो क्लॉड्स वगैरह बने उसको तोड़ने के लिए, उसका भी सिमिलर स्टैटिस्टिक्स है. ओके, सेम. सो यू अगेन यू हैव टू चूज वेदर यू वांट टू गो फॉर ह्यूमन और you want to go for mechanized. Human matlab human animal combined. Then seeding, obviously another important part. Okay, seeding which you have to do. So seeding ke liye again you have to choose human, same, mechanized. So just choose and accordingly subtract your EP and LP. Kitna EP kharcha hoga, kitna LP kharcha hoga. I hope you are done. Next, this is optional. If anyone wants to make bunds, it's an optional. So yeah, first 3 are compulsory. Everybody has to do it. Okay. Next, this is making bunds is optional. Okay. So anyone wants to make a bund, then you need to spend only 1 EP per land unit. If anyone wants to insure your crops, then it is 1 MP per land unit. Insurance, if you want to do. Okay. There's an organization, okay, with National Agriculture Insurance, which gives insurance for crops also. Done, everybody? Chosen your options? Just give me thumbs up and I will know that you have chosen your options. Okay. Next. Now, next option is to choose fertilizer and pesticides. Okay. For fertilizer, your yield factor will get affected in this. Okay. Your yield factor will become double if you choose to add fertilizer. If you have not added fertilizer, then it is going to be just the same, 1. If you then it otherwise it will double. So it's up to you. It's not compulsory. If you want, you say, okay, I will put fertilizer or not. You want, it's up to you. Again, chemical fertilizer डालना है तो 1 MP और 0.5 EP. Organic डालना है तो 0.5 MP and 1 EP. Basically, it's up to you whether you want to put fertilizer or not. If you put fertilizer, then your yield factor becomes double. मतलब अभी yield factor 1 है ना, तो मतलब 3 land unit का 3 yield unit मिलेगा. पर अगर fertilizer डालोगे तो 3 land unit में 6 yield मिलेगा. That's what it is. So yield factor becomes double if you choose to add fertilizer. That's up to you. Again, you can choose if you want to put fertilizer, then choose chemical डालना है या organic डालना है. Accordingly, उसका points. Is this clear? Okay. Next, pesticide, again optional. Pesticide mein again, if you get a pest attack, then your yield factor won't get reduced. That's all it does. So it won't add, and if there is an attack, if there's no attack, it won't make any difference. If there is a pest attack, then your yield factor will get protected. That's all. That's the job of pesticide. Again, you want to put synthetic or organic pesticides, you can choose, and you can, if you want to, it's up to you. Everything is scaled as per your land units. So jitna bhi usko land unit se multiply karte jao, you'll get your MP and EP. We just keep on saying itna MP, itna EP kharcha ho gaya. And at some point, if you run out of MP, then you have to borrow from a bank or a money lender, depending on your land holding. I know it's a complicated game hai. Previous slide, Jairaj. So what do you want to see in the previous slide, Jairaj? Already confused. Okay, see, it's very okay. Let me give an example. Okay, insurance. Insurance is basically 1 MP per land unit. See, Dita, just remember, you have said so much land units you're already buying, right? You have bought some land units. Okay, Dita, how many land units have you bought? If you have chosen some land units, how much you have bought? 100. Oh my God, you have bought 110 land units. 10, okay. I was scared. So basically, so suppose Lita, you want to do ploughing through human means, you will require 20 EP to do it. If you want to do ploughing through mechanized means, you will require 5 EP and 5 LP to do it. 5 EP and 5 MP to do it. So you multiply 10 with everything, with every number you see, that is the total kharcha which you have to make. That's all it is for every process. Okay, task 2 देखना है क्या? ठीक है. So I will look at task 2. Task 2 was basically just buying land. You start off with 100 MP and 40 EP. Okay, that's why everybody started off with 100 MP and 40 EP. Out of which you have to basically spend, as I said, make the table. Then it will be easy. Based on how much land you buy, you already spend that much. जिसने 10 MP खरीदा है लैंड, सपोज 10 लैंड यूनिट्स खरीदा है पंजाब में, तो तुम्हारा 100 MP खर्चा हो गया. That's how you have to decide based on that. How much you have spent. So you have spent so far on land and on water. That's what I'm saying. How much you spend, that is decided by where you have bought land. So where have you bought land and which crop you have chosen. उसके हिसाब से तुम्हारा खर्चा आएगा. Simple. Yes, Dhruv. For both fertilizer and pesticide, whatever option you choose, you multiply it with land units. Correct. So I'll explain this table again. Suppose you're growing rice in Punjab, then you need minimum 5 land units. And if rice ke liye, you need minimum 3 into jitna land unit hai into 3 water unit. So 5 land unit, 15 water unit. Okay? So accordingly, so if for Maharashtra, you will have to see the numbers and which crop you have taken. And yes, 10 and 28. So uska kharcha accordingly you will have to make. That's all it is. So I'm moving a little fast now because time, but I hope you're just getting into the spirit of it. Okay? Oh, you're taking 2 crops. Oh, then you have to do it 2 times. That's why I said कि starting में एक crop लेके करो पहले, वरना वो थोड़ा confusion बढ़ जाएगा. Anyway, now we have seen up to this point. We have added pesticide and fertilizer. Okay. Now some unexpected things happen. Those who are growing in West Bengal, there are floods in West Bengal. If you have made bunds, your yield factor is not affected. If you have not made bunds, your yield factor becomes half. If you are growing in West Bengal and you have made bunds, तुमको फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. अगर तुमने वेस्ट बंगाल में बंड नहीं बनाया है, तो तुम्हारा yield factor आधा हो गया. Okay. Next, those who are growing in Maharashtra, there is a drought. Okay. So basically, जितना land है तुम्हारा, उसमें से एक वाटर चला गया. अभी तुमको वापस खरीदना पड़ेगा उतना वाटर. ओके. तो तुमको जितना वाटर का कॉस्ट था, उतना वाटर महाराष्ट्र का कॉस्ट जो था पर वाटर का, उतना तुमको खर्चा देके फिर से सब वाटर खरीदना पड़ेगा. उतना MP will be a loss for you. Okay, if you have lost it. So right now, just take it. I think Maharashtra का कितना था? It was 3. Let me quickly show you that slide. So if you remember, Maharashtra का it was 8 rupees per water unit. So जितना land unit है into 8 तुम्हारा खर्चा होगा just to buy water. Okay, if you want to buy water. Otherwise, your yield factor becomes half. Those who are in Tamil Nadu, there is a cyclone. So if you have insured, your yield factor is not affected. If you're not insured, your yield factor becomes half. And finally, any of you have done in Punjab, if you don't have pesticide, your yield factor becomes half because there's a locust attack in Punjab. If you have done pesticides, then your yield factor remains as it is. Basically, you have to see कि तुम्हारा कहाँ पे land है और तुमने ये particular चीज किया है या नहीं किया है. That's all it will decide whether yield factor remains it is or it has become half. Okay. Now it's time to reap the harvest. Again, harvesting costs are simple. This is the cost for harvesting. Okay. This is the last task. Don't worry. You're harvesting the crop now. So 1 EP per land unit and 0.5 MP per land unit for manual, 0.5 EP per land unit and 1 MP per land unit for mechanized. So 1 into whatever is your land unit, that much EP, and 0.5 into whatever is your land unit is your money that you're spending for whichever option you choose. And total yield, okay, now use basically whatever is your yield factor now. Initial yield factor was 1. If you had put fertilizer, your yield factor became 2. If you are not affected in any of those dangers, then your yield factor remains 2. But if in the dangers your yield factor became half again, then your yield factor is again 1. So basically your total yield will be equal to either 2 into your land or 1 into your land. Okay. So everybody now has calculated your total yield. Just put down that number on the chat. So I'll know you have calculated your yield. Basically, your yield factor was 1 to start with. If you put fertilizers, your yield factor becomes 2. And if you have not, and if you have not undergone, these were some dangers, right? In the last slide. If in the danger you are affected, then your yield factor becomes 1 again. No fertilizer means your yield factor remains 1 only. And if you very affected in the danger, did it happen to you, any of those accidents? If it happened, then it becomes 0.5. Yield factor is 1 for all states. It's not changing from state to state. Then your yield factor is 1. So total yield is how many land unit you have, that is equal to your yield. If you have 10 land units, your yield is 10. Okay, so your yield is 3. Okay. Now the last point. Now this I know it's don't get bother into it right now, but I'm just giving you an idea. Okay. Why do you think Punjab was so expensive? Because this buying at MSP, even though the government says it will buy at MSP, it doesn't buy the same amount in every state. This is something that people don't know. MSP is the minimum selling price, right? That's why everybody said sugarcane, because 20 MSP you saw. But people don't, but just because I have sugarcane doesn't mean that all my sugarcane will be bought by the government. Because the government has a limitation on how much it can buy. And the government is the one which says, I will buy at MSP. Other than that, suppose the government buys only 20% in West Bengal at MSP. The 80% of it, then how do I sell it? I have to sell it to whoever is there, I have to sell it to them. And I cannot sell it to anybody outside a particular market. There's only a specific market where I can sell. So whatever price is quoted, I have no choice but to sell it at that price. So even though there is MSP, that MSP distribution is not uniform all over India. It's a fact today. Okay. So basically, if suppose whatever money you thought you will make, you will not make that much at all. You will make much, much less. So at the end of it, I'm pretty sure now if you do the calculations, you'll see that almost nobody is making a lot of money as of now, in this game at least. Almost everybody of you is losing a lot of money, is broke. Especially if you are not a farmer from one of the rich states where MSP is very there. See the object, I know it's very confusing right now and time is limited. So I know that we will play this some else time also when there's with more time and with more things. You have like 18, okay? Tamil MSP, so it is not, MSP is not based on, the previous MSP, right? It's 60% MSP and 40% at half price. You have 20. Okay, 18, 20. But okay, good. So people have just bare amount of money left, right? After all these things. Sugarcane MSP was 20. Okay. So the point of this game is only so much that first to your crop yield was 12. Okay. And there, so 10 is okay, but then the 12, now it's not 10 into 12 directly. So it will be 10 into 12 into something minus plus something. So that's how the final cost will be calculated. So basically, my point of this game is two things. One is to make you understand that it is not, don't worry about the calculation, the final calculation. It just depends on the state where you are. So you are not basically going to get only 50% of what you thought you will get. You will even get if you are not in some of those big states. The point is that it is not easy being a farmer. Okay. It is just, we think it's farmer mein kuch nahi lagta. It's a lot of calculations, lot of assumptions that are involved in, even if you are to do something like farming. And at the end of it is a lot of, there's a lot of debt and effort that people go through it, but still they end up without gaining much money. Which is one of the reasons why you see a lot of people, farmers are committing suicides and lack of money for them, because it's a very difficult, it's not a very easy task to do. However, there are ways of going about it, and that requires effort from both the farming community as well as from the government. And that is what will ultimately ensure that we feel better. So appreciate whatever is being done by these people and what you get, because it's not an easy thing to do it. Okay. Don't worry about the final money part. We will look at, but I hope the idea is at least clear. Okay. So with that, I'll stop my sharing.
Thank you, Bhaiya. I think we need to play this game again 2-3 times to get it, but we understand what you're trying to say, and yeah, it's a hard reality. We're very comfortable in the cities, and many things about our own country we didn't know. So saying that, Janak, could you share your up next? Can you take it ahead?
Very good. So we learned a lot, right? We learned about the significance of this festival, the astronomical significance, the scientific aspect of it, and then Swamiji taught about the spiritual significance, why Surya is, worship and how to worship, and so many different elements and aspects of it for us to remember, think, acknowledge, and then probably follow, right? Now, let's look at how to worship Surya, and also that amazing game wherein we understood the importance of farming and how difficult it is and the thing. So thank you for that, Arvind. Now we'll look at how we worship Surya Bhagavan. And so can we have the presentation? Thank you. Gayatri Mantra. We all chant, we know this mantra, right? Gayatri Upasana is a method through which we worship Surya Bhagavan, right? So Swamiji taught us a lot about the actual significance, the spiritual significance of it, and then also touched upon this Upasana aspect of sun worship. Now let's just look at Gayatri Mantra as the form of sun worship and look at the symbolic meaning of it. Okay, the literal meaning is there, wherein the verse meanings you can we know, and then based on it the entire interpretation is there. Today we will just look at the symbolic. There can be more interpretation, there can be a Vedantic, there can be a spiritual significance to the mantra also. There is all of that we will look in the future whenever we have sessions or there are talks of Swamiji and so much out there. Today we'll look at the short symbolic significance. So we know the mantra. This is just the meaning, word meaning of the mantra. Wherein Om indicates the truth, the unchanging truth, which is the basic, the cause. We are always hunting the cause for everything, right? Universe and everything. How this came into existence, why this came into existence. So Om indicates that truth, right? Bhu is the body, Bhuvaha, mind, Suvaha, intellect, Savitur is sun. So that sun, ideal of tireless service, Varenyam, most adorable, warmth of love, Bharga Devasya, that is effulgence, light of knowledge. We connect knowledge with light. Correct. Dhimahi, I meditate. Dhiyo Yona, our intellect, and Prachodayat illuminate. This is symbolically speaking the word meaning of the Gayatri Mantra. Now, and in the right side, when you look at the image, this is the image of Gayatri Devi. Very recently, even I found out, I mean, we are not very aware of the deities. We have not seen the deity, right? So this is the image of Gayatri Devi, who's the deity behind the Gayatri Mantra. Gayatri Mantra was given out by Maharshi Vishwamitra, and it is given in the Rig Veda. Right? And so, can we have the next slide? Coming to Gayatri Upasana. Okay, so what is Upasana and why it is required, right? So simple principle of mind is as we think, so we become. Gurudev says mind is a flow of thought like a river is a flow of water. So all the thoughts that we have creates the mind, and that is our expression in the outside world. So it's important to have good thoughts, thoughts which are worthy to be had, right? So this Upasana, how does it help us? Upasana literally means asana is sitting and upa is near. So you sit near the ideal or the object of worship. So how does it help? To Upasana is to fix your mind to the object of your concentration in the way that the ideal becomes integrated to a personality. It can be any ideal. The ideal can be about love for the culture, service to the country. So many different things could be your ideal. And whatever that ideal is, when you think about that, when you always are in the thought of those ideals, such thoughts come in, the mind is filled with that thoughts, and that is how our manifestation is, right? So this is how Upasana helps us, right? And here we need an ideal. Like we said, the ideal over here is, of course, Surya Bhagavan. Why is Surya Bhagavan the ideal? That we'll see in the next slide. This is just an image of, kids doing the Upasana. Why the sun? So now, like Swamiji said, Surya is symbolic of all the devatas and all, right? So Surya, Rishi said that Surya is, we are not just looking at Surya as a star, okay, which has a start and an end date, but we are interpreting Surya as the supreme knowledge itself, the ever effulgent supreme knowledge, the noblest of the noble ideas, right? And it also signifies the principle of dynamic work. Sun is always there, all right, always brilliantly shining, not a single day off, right? So sun through the day, it illuminates everything around, it sustains everything, whether it is life, whether it's everything, it has the capability to sustain, and all of the planets also around, right? And thus sun represents blossoming of the personality and holistic growth of body, mind, intellect. We start everything in the morning with the sunrise, whether it is exercise, having breakfast and feeling energetic in the morning, going to our schools, our work, colleges, whatever it is. We start everything in the morning because there is so much energy that is given by the morning sun, the sunlight, the heat, the warmth, everything. And it also creates a fresh mindset for us to deal with the world, to transact in the world. And it clears the clutter of the intellect, right? This is all experiences that we generally have daily, right? So these experiences that we have is looked at as the ideal that the sun is representing. And so we are praying to the sun. The next slide. So we are praying to the Surya to give us these qualities, to help us integrate our personality with the ideal that Surya Bhagavan represents. Okay, so these are certain qualities that we learn. All these deities uphold so many amazing qualities. We learn a lot from Rama, Krishna, Devi, Skanda, all of them, right? Similarly, what are the qualities that we in our daily life can learn which are important for us? First is power of understanding. When we have a proper mind, proper intellect, we understand harder problems, challenges of life, and we are able to deal with it. Clarity of vision. There is loss of confusion, there is much more clarity. Subtlety of intellect. To understand and to be able to deal with the issues or with the daily transactions of life, we need to be able to use our head all the time and not be cluttered in thoughts and be moody all the time, right? So alertness and purity. And this understanding that when the mind is agitated, intellect cannot think properly. When you are deeply in an emotion, stuck in an emotion of sorrow, of anything, you're not able to use your head properly, right? And we end up making wrong decisions. We end up not taking the right decisions. We end up losing opportunity. The fears inhibit us. All of this happens. So mind has to be calm. Only then intelligence will come forth. And the prayer to Surya Bhagavan, Lord Sun, is that please purify the mind for the higher sadhana and give us all the abilities written above so that our intellect may shine forth and we are able to take every decision, live a meaningful life, live a life wherein we are upholding dharma, we are able to do our duties to the best of our abilities. Okay. And for that, we remember and worship Surya through Gayatri Mantra. And the process of doing that is Upasana. You may have heard or may not have, called what is Sandhya Vandanam, which is done in the morning at sunrise and in the evening at sunset, wherein there are people chant 108 times Gayatri Mantra by taking a bath, purifying them, and all of that. Because Gayatri Mantra by itself is a very powerful mantra which bestows us the qualities, the ideals, what Surya Bhagavan represents. So we'll look at the chanting also. And before that, Vinit Bhai is going to tell us something.
Thank you, Janak. Thank you for sharing those points. See, friends, one practical aspect which we can take about this, there are many practical aspects, but one daily sadhana or daily, what you can say, improvement effort which we can take out of this is we can do Gayatri Mantra 11 times every day. Especially all those who are students here, specifically for you, if I can say, there are numerable studies which have gone on, and they tell us what are the concentration benefits, how your memory increases, how your mind becomes more sharp by chanting just 11 times. We have also been told this since when we were young. Chant Gayatri Mantra every day 11 times. Try it out for ourselves, friends. We can make a group, get a support group together. You can come and chant. The effect will be so much more. There are scientific studies and papers which have been concluded about people who have been chanting Gayatri Mantra daily, how it has helped them, and compared to people if they are not doing any sadhana or if they're not. Because in life, everyone says focus, focus, focus. But how to focus? If I really genuinely want to focus and I don't know how to do this, there are many methods. One method, one very powerful and potent method is the Gayatri Mantra. And it will bring us two things. It will improve our focus, that is our mental power. There are some ways to do that. And it will improve our purity of mind also. Both things are important. Because, in the time of the exam, you know the answer. It's like it's just on my lip, but I'm not able to say it. Why is it like that? Our mind is not there where our hands are. That's why. My suggestion, my request to everyone would be, try it out for ourselves. If you can make a group with your friends, you can, if you want us to do it, you can tell us at Chinmaya Yuva Kendra, we can form a group and we can do it. But one thing which we can really take out of this is chant Gayatri Mantra daily. There are so many benefits you have seen, and knowing about the benefits and experiencing it in our lives is something very different. That's what we really want here at Yuva Kendra, that what benefits we have experienced in life through sadhana, through Gayatri Mantra, through japa, you all also experience it if you are not already doing it. So if you are doing it, keep doing it and tell others about it. If you are not doing it, this is a superb place to start. It's such a great day. And from tomorrow, every day, just 11 times. It doesn't take even 2 minutes, like less than 5 minutes it will take you. But our life's quality will improve so much. You know, they say ki 4 hours of work, you can do it in 2 hours. Why? Because it's actually 2 hours of work. Half the time the mind is wandering there. This one said that, this one said that. All the clutter gets decluttered, and we are able to live such a better quality of life. So thank you so much for that. And today we will, normally it's done in the morning since it's a sun worship, but because of the time, we'll just chant 11 times today. And Janak, yeah. Go ahead.
Gayatri is a chandas, it's a meter, is a tone in which the mantra is chanted. So we call it the Gayatri Mantra. And it's not the sing-song manner in which we generally chant. So we will chant 11 times Gayatri Mantra through the intonations. You can share that image of with the indicators of how to chant the intonation, the meter. And you can have the first page so that if anyone requires that anchor, you can look at Gayatri Devi. Om Bhurvasuvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasuvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasuvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasuvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasuvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasuvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasuvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasuvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasuvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasuvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasuvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. After taking bath in the morning, one can chant this mantra just 11 times daily. And if chanted in the right intonation, it gives the full effect of the mantra. We may chant it anyhow, and of course, the benefit is there. But in the right intonation, the right vibration come. It's like applying that perfect, doing it the perfect manner. So when we do that, the benefit slowly you can see in yourself, and it's an experience. So it's a suggestion that we do.
Thank you so much. I know we have exceeded the time a little bit. Sorry about that. But last 5 minutes, let me introduce to you. We had a Chinmaya challenge today. It's called Makar Sankranti. So on Instagram, some of us, we have put in on our Instagram pages what we love about Sankranti, what we really want to do as a Hindu festival, as what it means to us. So there are so many options which we discussed in today's class. Whichever one you like, you can pick up one of them and make a small post, put it up on your Instagram handle, tag Chick Mumbai in it, and it will make it into a small competition. The best 3 posts, they will get a prize by the last day, Sunday. So put up your posts, reels. It will only be on Instagram. So you're all welcome to participate, and it'll be a lot of fun making it, also going through the entire experience of the festival and learning so much about it. These are living festivals. They are not only in books, or it's not only a blind tradition, but they are experiences to be lived through, to be enjoyed and cherished for life. So I hope you all can get a chance to do this and put up something that you like on your Instagram. Tag the Chick Mumbai handle. I'll share it on our WhatsApp. You can tag us and follow us. So, and we'll follow you back. Then we can see it. If you don't follow us, we won't be able to see it on Instagram. So please follow us, and that is Chick Mumbai, the handle which you tag, and we'll follow you back so we can read all your go through your posts, and we have a panel who will decide whichever ones is the best. They will get a small prize from all of us. Thank you. Urvashiji, over to you. So anyone has prepared the ingredients for the Til-Gud laddu? It is, our festival is a Hindu festival, but one part of it is, of course, you can have a nice laddu. Okay, Suhas has. So get all your ingredients out. I can give you all 10, if it's not ready, 10 seconds max. Get everything ready. All the ingredients which you have said on the post. And Urvashiji, over to you.
Should I spotlight myself?
Yeah, done.
Okay. Thank you, whoever. So, Hari Om, everyone, and happy Makar Sankranti. So these are the ingredients. I've actually, just to save time, already ground them as I had directed you all to. And there's the ghee and the elaichi. Okay, and then all this had to be ground together in the mixie. And I have got this mixture now. So have all of you managed to reach this stage? It's a very simple recipe that we have chosen because we knew we'll be short of time. Great. Okay. So now all we have to do is we have to take some of the mixture in our hand and make balls of it. Just between the two hands, just keep making them round, and it's pretty simple. It'll become a laddu, okay, a til laddu. I've already made a few. It's not difficult. If you all are not, if you're finding it difficult to make it bind, then you can just add some more ghee, or you can add some peanuts for flavor. Okay, these are the ready ladoos that I have prepared. I'm going to make one more. Just take some of this in your hand. And if you put it between the two, I mean, that's the way I find it easy to make the ball. Can we have some of, Vineet, we can have some of them showing us how they are making theirs. So you can remove the spotlight maybe.
Yeah, that's a great idea. You can start your videos, please. And
yeah, let's see your all your ladoos.
Okay, so Suhas has made.
That's great. And in Marathi, I think they say, no, Til-Gud gya, god bhola.
Yeah, Jairaj, can you tilt your bowl a little bit more so we can see? The bowl is being seen. Just tilt it a little more so we can see the laddu. No, laddu, hold it maybe up. Oh, nice. Yeah, now we can say thank you.
We eat these till ladoos, we'll always talk sweetly,
Yeah.
which is something Chinmaya mission members always remember to do. Is talk sweetly with everyone. Are you all finding it easy to make them?
You can innovate with whatever shapes also you like. So we found it a little difficult, but if you can do it, then you can post that also on your Instagram and tell us if you
Yeah,
can make it like a kite or something, or anything, or you can make it into the.
Yeah, we'd love
Up
to
to
see
you.
any other shapes. So Til Laddu is the most famous, and as Swamiji told us, Til is very significant in Sankrant. It gives heat in this cool weather, and it's also very auspicious, offered to Lord Shiva. So definitely eat one now before you go eat your own creation, and feed the whole family as well.
Thank you so much, Oroshiji. You can make it in the shape of a sun also.
Yeah, that's right. Let's try that.
Okay.
A flat one.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining, and I will share all the required posts on a WhatsApp group. So please stay on it for one more day. So just don't leave the group immediately. We'll share all the links and posts. You can have a look at them. And I'll just share one last thing with all of you. On Sunday, there were a lot of questions if we couldn't answer any of them. So Swami Swatmanji is having a Q&A session on Sunday. The link I will post in the chat right now.
You can even post it on the group.
I will post it on the group as well, but I'll just tell you all right now who all are here. Yeah, this is the link. So there's a Q&A session happening on Sunday. You all can please attend. If you have any questions to ask, it's open for everyone, 3 to 4, 16th Jan, this coming Sunday, day after. So about Makar Sankranti or any questions about Hindu culture, spirituality in general, please, you're most welcome to ask. Okay, thank you. How was everyone's experience? Maybe I know we are like really late, so I'm very sorry about that. But it comes once in a year. I think half an hour we can spend, no problem. How was everyone's experience? Anyone would like to share? Yeah, Suhas. I'll just okay. You can unmute yourself. I've just removed it. You can unmute yourself.
Okay, Hari Om everyone. This was a very nice event and I enjoyed it. I learned a lot of things in this event.
Thanks, Suhas. Yeah, Jairaj, go ahead.
Like Suhas said, I learned a lot, and there were new things which we have not experienced before, like the farm activity, the farm game that was there, and the Gayatri Mantra. What does it exactly mean? I mean, everybody sees it, but no, very few people understand what it means.
Yeah, true. When you know the meaning, you will feel more like doing it. It will not just be like a blind tradition. We will feel the vibrations of it.
Yes.
And the benefits in our life. Correct. I know you will be doing it every day. Dharini, yeah.
So I enjoyed the session a lot and I learned a lot of new things. Like, although I have attended Makar Sankranti sessions before, like every time I attend something new I learn. And I was just remembering offline, if we were there now, if COVID was not there, we would have so much fun. Like we would be flying kites, etc. So
True. We would. Hopefully next year when the things are not with COVID better, we will have it offline also. But great. No, it's really nice. So can you all switch on your videos? We'll take a picture together, Zoom picture. This is our tradition and it will be great. Okay, quickly. Just put on your videos. 5, 4, 3, 2. I'm taking the picture. Huh? 1.5, 1.5, last, anyone, 0.25, 0.1. This is it, my math is getting over, 0.001, and Hari! Oh, okay, beautiful. Everyone's face is shining like the sun. We'll conclude with the prayers, and other links and all, I'll just share it on the group today. Okay, so we say from time. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhave, Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityurmam Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Swamiji, any last words?
Nothing. Purnamada is the ultimate. After that, nothing.
Sorry, I should have asked 2 minutes before.
Hari Om everyone.
Hari Om, thank
Hari
you.
Om everyone.
Hari Om.